Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is Into the Storm.
I'm Dan. I'll be playing Helios, the Immolator.
I'm John. I'll be playing Ariad Ein Ariat, the Elven Barbarian.
I'm Josh, and I play Sapush, the Druid.
And I'm Matt, playing Father Kyle Black, the Cleric.
And I'm your Dungeon Master, Jake, and this is Episode 6, Fire and Ice.
I apologize for things, transgressions. Wish I could say that I learned my lesson, but the bottle she's calling.
All right, here we are. A lot happened last week. You did some investigating on board the Sea Witch. You broke into a locked cabin and found out that some sort of magic user was on board. Matt spoke with the dead captain and learned the name of that person. Dan attempted to contact them with a magical brazier by sacrificing some of his flesh, which seems to be a theme from that weirdo. And speaking of weirdos, Sapush met Admiral Purrington, most important NPC so far.
Yeah.
But the game ended with the Sea Witch running aground unexpectedly in the night. The ship came to a crashing halt. You were all thrown to the floor of the galley. And when you get back up to your feet, the captain announces, "We've run aground." You all scramble to your feet, make your way above deck. As you come up above deck, it is nighttime. Sailors are shouting in confusion and lighting lanterns and walking around the edge of the deck and looking over into the water. And the first thing that you all notice is the freezing cold. You can see your breath in front of you. And you make your way towards the edge of the ship and you look down, and what you see takes a moment for your brain to truly register because it is so incredibly out of place in this tropic climate. You see ice.
Damn. Like an iceberg?
Like sheet ice.
Okay.
Like sea ice.
The ship is just literally mashed into...
The ship has crashed into the ice. Like the Endurance.
Where's Captain Shackleton when you need him?
Where are we?
How is this possible? Helios says.
Bartholomew, Captain Cohen, looks out over the sea of ice in front of you, and in the distance you can see a large island stretching out. And he says, "We're about a mile off the coast of Fort Assan."
Jake, Helios turns and kind of runs up to the where the altar is.
Okay.
And looks into it immediately.
It's not lit.
Okay, it's not.
No.
Jake, can I have Sapush make a discern realities check?
Absolutely.
He wants to really kind of get a sense of, I know that we have this idea that, okay, this power somehow comes from Jorah Mormont, whether they're siphoning the power from or whatever, but from his perspective, like, does this feel unnatural? Does it feel like, is this working with nature, or is it really like in a, like, unnaturally like pulling things in? You know what I mean? Like,
I
think a druid would kind of sense like, this was naturally kind of pulling these forces, or it was just kind of like
from the
ripping
divine.
it out of.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
12.
Whoa. You love those sixes.
Yeah. Well, I got +2, so 6, 10 +2. I can ask 3 questions. I guess that's the main one. Maybe what here is not what it appears to be. Who's really in control here? What happened here recently? But
cool.
Really trying to get to the essence of.
So the who's really in control here one is a great one, actually. So what you feel is that this is not natural. It's nature being forced to against its will. So it is nature, but it's nature being forced to do something that it doesn't want to do. So the answer to who's in control here is whoever is forcing nature to act against what it feels is the right course. And you know that is most likely this Trinas.
Sapush turns to Ariad and says, I think this is probably from power of Trinas. He controls nature and bends it, forces the sea to freeze and the winds to howl. This is good. You sought powerful person to fight. This is very powerful.
Well, good.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Sapush. Now, how do we get there? I look over the sea of ice and see, like, how solid it looks.
It's dark, so it's hard to tell because it's nighttime. It was pretty late when this all happened. Tell me about your homeland, Ariad. Do you think that you have... that just reminded me of Dune. Tell me of the waters of your homeland. Do you think you have 4 seasons there? Do you have winter?
No, it's mostly between spring. Cycles between spring, summer, and fall. But there is no real winter, and the temperature change isn't drastic. It's mostly about the leaves.
Yeah. So this
You live in California.
Yeah, pretty much.
A bunch of California elves.
Yeah.
Of course. So this is very new to you, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But as far as whether or not it's safe, you don't know.
Yeah.
You look out and you're like, interesting. It's solid enough to stop the boat.
Right.
Which,
I look over at like
solid.
Helios and I say, "Is that? Can we walk across that? It's only a mile away."
Helios is standing up on top of the kind of the bridge there, and he's not paying attention to you. Helios is going to summon a fire in the brazier.
Okay.
And then bite one of his fingers till it starts bleeding.
Oh boy.
And let it drip into the fire. And he says the ritual, and he says, "Show me Trinos."
Nice. Okay. Take 1 point of damage.
Okay.
And again, you see an image of a cavern of ice. In the distance, you see that scaly serpent chained, hanging off of those chains. And you see a cloaked figure with its back towards you, standing over a table, looking at some manuscripts, just wearing a dark brown robe, not looking in your direction. But as the fire flares up, he turns and he looks at the brazier and he walks towards it. And you see that his face and his arms and hands are completely covered in runic tattoos. He walks over to the brazier and he looks at you.
Helios just stares back at him, like kind of in a calculating way, just trying to get as much information from what he sees of this cavern and this individual.
Yeah.
But doesn't really want to give anything up.
He speaks and you're shocked that you hear his voice. And he says, "I know you. You're the traitor.
It's a good start.
And you are Trinos.
Are you coming for me, traitor?"
Is this your doing, the ice?
He looks over his shoulder and he says, "You picked the wrong side. We now have a weapon that will crush your adopted homeland." And the fire fizzles out and disappears.
Helios turns and looks down at you and then comes down the steps. "I saw him. Trinos.
He knows we have his ship then.
This is his doing. He stands before the god, siphons his power."
Well,
And now he knows we're here.
can we walk across those?
Captain says to you, Ariad, "Hi, you can. Let me send a man down to check it before you do. But it seems thick enough."
Then we go. Take care of this man once and for all.
I would suggest you wait till first light. If there are thin patches, you'll want to see them in the light so you can avoid them. But it's up to you if you don't want to waste the time or give him the time to prepare.
Maybe I can help. I will go in front.
Let me send a man down first to check the ice. He walks away from all of you and he starts shouting orders. He says, you, get down there. Drill a hole in the ice. Check how deep it is. The rest of you, raise those boarding nets. We don't know what's out here.
Are there places as cold as this here? This is like shiver.
Yes, but they should not be here. Sabush walks over to the side of the ship, gets ready to disembark, and actually kind of closes his eyes and turns. You see him, the look he gets when he's about to kind of take a form. Then he stops and he looks back to the captain. Captain Cohen.
Yes.
I must ask something of you while we are gone. Could you leave a bowl of milk out?
Milk? We don't have any milk.
Cheese?
For the cat?
Yes, for the Admiral. Thank you.
Will do.
Sapush leans forward and he jumps from the side of the ship, and then as he lands, a very kind of spindly and light-bodied, white-coated coyote, kind of tannish white, lands on the ground. And he swivels his head back, and on some of the torches that are up on the side of the ship, you see the light reflecting, showing his night vision eyes glowing back at you, and he kind of silently pads off a little bit towards the edge of the darkness.
Okay.
Ariad actually goes to the captain's quarters and gets a cloak or a
good call. None of you are dressed for this weather, of course. Yeah. You're probably wearing you packed for the Caribbean and you ended up in Chicago.
Yep.
So it's not going well.
Helios will grab the boots.
The boots.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Matt, is Kyle getting any sort of extra clothes? Oh, you lost your armor. If you wanted to find some armor, you probably could on the ship. If you want, you could have one armor. Find something that fits you.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll also just grab whatever kind of cloak, something that's there. Fucking poncho.
Yeah, it hadn't it hadn't seemed as out of place earlier, but you did find a lot of clothing below decks that just didn't seem like it really needed to be there. There were some heavy cloaks and stuff like that, but you grab like a captain's jacket.
Yeah.
And you get those boots and a cloak as well, Helios, and you do the same, Kyle. And within about a half an hour, the three of you climb down the side of the boat and onto the ice. It's late at night, but there is a bright moon, so you can see fairly well. Not good enough to really know if the ice is strong enough, as the captain warned. But it seems like Sapush has that covered, as you see his eyes glinting in the darkness up ahead.
The, like, kind of weirdly human coyote yelp thing they do. He kind of pads a little bit closer, looks around each of you, and then pads softly off and stops, and you see him kind of turn around and walk back through his own footprints and look at you again and pads off.
All right.
I'm going to Jake, with that new move I have, I'm going to add +1 to Dex.
Cool.
And then you pick one I have one less of.
What did you roll for?
Oh, I didn't
holds?
actually. Shit.
Ooh, double
Snake
one.
eyes.
You rolled an
I
experience.
hold 1 in addition to anything you might want to say. So
I like it. Okay. So there's like you get one hold, but there's like a downside, basically.
or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get plus to what attribute?
Dex.
Dex. But you're gonna take a negative to probably, let's do Well, it doesn't. I mean, the mental attributes in this scenario aren't going to matter too much, but let's say wisdom.
Okay.
And you get a little overwhelmed with this form. You get a little too into it, a little too primal, and too focused on. Dan's doing humping motions.
Something's in heat.
You see another coyote.
It's
and you're
that
like,
weird,
yeah.
that weird humpy move that dogs get. Like,
When you guys are moving up and you're like, halt. And then you just see the pushes.
No, you just you kind of forget about your companions. You know what you need to do, which is to get to the shore and to avoid any bad ice. But you kind of forget that they're not coyotes and they can't run as fast as you. So for the rest of you, he takes off and you can follow, but you've got to run. And he doesn't seem to be stopping, taking any care in going slow for you.
Oh,
Glad y'all boosted your con last level.
yeah, right.
I guess we're running. Sapoosh.
And I think I'm using the one hold on this.
Yeah. So you yell to him, but then you all just start running across the ice. Which
Is there like snow on this, or is this just sheer ice?
there's no snow on it. It's just ice.
Cool.
So it's a bit slippery. And you all start running across the ice. And can you all give
Are
me?
there footprints to follow?
You can see him still. He.
Okay.
As long as you keep running, you don't lose sight of him.
I light his tail on fire so that we can just track him through the.
But what happens is you don't really have time to kind of prepare yourselves or anything like that, and you're all doing an all-out sprint. And John,
Yeah.
we'll say Ariad, you notice something
Mm.
in the sky above you. You see forms. It looks like birds at first, but they're too big. They're bigger than birds. There's quite a few of them. They seem to be following you, gathering in number.
Helios, are those
What? What
The-
did you say?
a bird? Something's following us
Where?
up above.
Kyle, you see these things and you know what they are immediately. You've seen them before on battlefields. They're called... Hold on. Got to open my monster manual here. They're called night wings. And they're
good.
scavengers, usually feeding on carrion. They often would gather after big battles and pick at the dead soldiers' bodies. And there have been several times where you and some other people would shoo them off. For the most part, they don't fight people unless they're desperate or maybe confused.
This is a portent of how well we do getting across the ice.
But you see that their numbers are growing. Once in a while, they'll get close enough where you get a good look at them. They're about the size of a young child or a halfling. They have 2 sets of wings. The first set are on their arms. They're bipedal, kind of humanoid looking. And their arms are long bat wings. And then on their legs are another set of wings, like kind of between their 2 legs. And they glide around above you. They're dark, kind of black and furry. And they've got almost like that foxy looking, like fruit bat type head.
Helios says, "If I'm going to do anything, I have to stop."
Well, they're not attacking, but I don't know. They look angry. Sapoosh.
It's not a good sign. We're safe for now, but will be death ahead.
Why don't you guys give me some rolls? Not you, Josh. You're fine. But the 3 of you, give me defy danger, dexterity.
I might just stop with this roll. And so, yeah.
8.
What'd you do, Dan?
I rolled a
What
5.
level are you? Because you failed
And
every roll I've seen.
I'm level 8. It's no big deal. And I have -1 because I'm shaky still.
Nice.
So that's a 4, crushing it.
You got a 4.
I
Awesome.
fell through the ice.
What did you get?
I rolled a 3,
Oh.
but I have a -1,
Oh.
so 2.
I was
Power.
hoping you were going to make Constitution saves
Yeah, me too.
because they all had to keep it running.
Well, I was thinking the
Yeah,
ice.
the ice.
The
The ice.
slippery
It
ice.
Is
It
the
makes
slippery
sense.
ice
Yeah.
is the primary factor.
I didn't say you should have. I said I was hoping.
Ariad, you're in front. You're
Yeah.
taking point. You're a graceful elf.
Yes.
This is a new environment to you, but it's kind of fun. Every once in a while, you
He's a
stop
figure
running
skater.
and you
He's a figure
slide.
skater.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this
It's
is great.
fun.
And then you realize that you don't hear footfalls behind you, and you turn back and you see one of them on the ice, on their stomach. They must have fallen. You look back and you see that it is Kyle. He has fallen on the ice, and he's struggling to get to his feet. And you don't see Helios. Helios, as you're running, you slip, you fall, the ice breaks.
Cool.
You feel the cold rush of water as you hit the seawater below.
I'm sure as an immolator, you love being cold.
Love it.
Ariad, you turn around, you see Kyle, and then you see this form swoop down from above and try to grab him.
Okay.
He kind of rolls onto his back, and just narrowly avoids being grabbed by this thing as it swoops down, and with its lower legs, its talons, it tries to grab at him, misses, and then takes back up to the sky.
I immediately turn around.
Out! Fuck!
Get up! I run over to him and I pull him up onto his feet. Have you seen Helios? Helios!
I heard a splash.
You see a hand reach up out of the ice, about 30 feet back, behind where the two of you are now. Josh, Sapush, you're running, and you realize that they are not behind you, and you kind of snap out of your daze, and you remember that your companions, your pack, are not like you.
Wolfpack.
So you're good. You're good to kind of help out and everything, but you're pretty far out.
Okay.
You're pretty far ahead of them.
I'll turn and start running back.
Nice. Okay.
I
Split up the party. That's a move there.
I pull up Kyle. Once I see that Helios is actually in the water, I kind of let Kyle do his own devices and run over to Helios.
Okay. Kyle, what are you doing?
I slip and fall back onto the ice.
Okay.
Fucking Benny Hill music. Fucking Fat Friar Tuck just flipping and flopping on the ice.
You managed to get to your feet.
I'm going back to help
Okay.
pull Helios out of the ice.
All right. You make your way back, trailing behind Ariad, towards Helios. As you get to Helios, you look up for a moment, and it's kind of cool, like silhouetted above or below the moon. You see these bat-winged creatures circling above you.
Cool.
Are we going to call that cool? Is that what we're calling it?
Cool imagery.
Yeah, okay.
I bet Dio would think that was cool.
Who wants to go? Who wants to act?
I'm going to try to pull Helios out of the water.
Okay. Assist. Hold on. Let's look at our move list.
Defy danger?
Defy danger or
Aid?
aid.
Yeah.
Plus bond.
Why don't you aid?
Yep.
And Dan, why don't you defy danger?
Okay. And I'm going to use Dex for defy danger? Or strength.
You can do dex or strength.
Got a -1 to both, so.
Okay.
I got 8.
An 8. Okay.
6.
Ooh. All right.
+1, right?
+1 if you for aid. That's what aid does.
Okay.
Yep.
So I rolled a 7, -1, 6, but +1.
And John, does aid say on a mixed successes that you expose yourself to danger?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you grab a hold of him and you haul him out of the water.
Yep.
And as you do that, the sea water comes up onto the ice, and you slip as well. You're about to lose your balance, but something grabs you from behind and prevents you from falling. And then you feel your feet lift off of the ground. And you realize that the thing grabbing onto you from behind is one of these creatures.
Neat.
Who's next?
Whoa.
As I kind of struggle out of the ice, out of the water, can Helios kind of grab for his foot, his ankle?
Sure, yeah.
All right. That's what Helios will do. Should I do aid or defy danger?
I would say at the moment you don't need to roll anything.
Okay.
You're pulling against the
Yep.
Nightwing and essentially offsetting it. You're playing tug of war with Ariad.
In trying to kind of curl in on myself because I'm so cold, I just lock my hand around his ankle.
Nice.
And just try to make myself into a ball to hold him down
Nice.
as well as try to warm up.
If you light Ariad on fire, I bet the Nightwing would let go of
It's
him.
probably that is worth considering.
Kyle, you're scrambling across the ice, approaching, and you see this bat creature with its claws in Ariad's back, trying to lift him into the sky, and you see Helios struggling to pull him down to the ground. What do you do?
How high off the ground is this Nightwing? Like a foot or two, or is it actually carrying him off?
Ariad's about 4 feet off the ground, and it's got its talons, its lower, its feet essentially, in his shoulders, not hurting you, Ariad, just kind of grabbing onto your armor. So it's, if Ariad's 6 feet tall and it's 4 feet off the ground, it's at about 10 feet.
Okay, as I run over to them, I'm going to pull my staff out of the holster on my back, and I'm going to cast light on it as I run towards them. Light is
Dope Gandalf shit.
Yeah.
an item you touch glows with divine light, about as bright as a torch, gives off no heat or sound, requires no fuel, otherwise a mundane torch. I have the complete control of the color of the flame. So I will start running at it and just make it glow bright red.
Cool.
As I run towards it, just fucking screaming, get the fuck out of here!
You do that, and as the light spills out from your staff and illuminates the area around you, you realize that there are way more of these things than you thought there were. It's dark out here on the ice, and they're they keep flying in and out of the range of your light. But there's dozens of them.
All right, well, now I'm picturing pitch black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that movie in a long time.
I was picturing that at first, that part with Gandalf when he rides out and drives the... What are those things called?
The Orakai.
No,
No.
they're flying down at... when he gets...
The Nephilim?
Oh, the dragons?
Jesus Christ.
The
Yeah, but what do they
Nephilim?
call them?
No.
Nazgul?
The Nazgul.
Nazgul.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Christ. Jesus.
Oh, I thought you meant the part where
You lose your nerd
I thought you
card
meant
there.
the
Shit.
siege of Helm's Deep.
Well,
when
he comes
he
down-
rides in.
No, he rides out to get the body of
Yep.
Boromir's brother there.
Yeah. Faramir.
Faramir.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Come on.
Yeah.
How long has it been since you saw those? How long has it been since you saw those movies, right?
It's been a
Or
while.
read the books?
A long time.
Yeah. Okay, so Josh, you're approaching. You're I mean, unless you have something you can do from pretty far away, you see what's going on now, and you're making your way across the ice, and the all of a sudden the area around them starts to glow red, and you see that Ariad is being lifted into the air by this creature. Keep trucking.
Hauling.
Okay, yeah, you're
Gonna-
hauling
gonna
across
go
the ice.
all out.
Ariad, it's pulling at you. Helios is pulling at you the other direction.
I take my sword out and try to stab it, stab upwards at it.
Nice.
I'll do a hack and slash. 8.
8, okay. Go ahead and roll damage.
Demosh. 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay. You it's the angle is weird, but you manage to draw your blade, and in a sweeping arc you cut this thing's leg right off, and it loses its grip on you, of course,
Yep.
with its other leg, and you fall and smash into the ice. You don't break through, but you land pretty hard. You take a d6 minus 1.
So 1.
1. Okay. Yeah, your head hits the ice, and you look straight up, and you see another one diving towards you.
Helios, like as I imagine Ariad to kind of on a pendulum swing come down into the ice, will kind of release him and immediately kind of put his hands together and conjure flame between them to kind of at first heat himself.
Summoning flame on the ice. What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, that's what they go around.
This has never been bad before.
We'll find out pretty fast how what bad this is going to be.
You at first you're kind of heating your own body.
Yes.
But what's your goal here? What or
My
what are you
goal will
trying
be
do?
to lash out at them
Okay,
with
yeah.
the fire.
Nice.
But Burning Brand actually takes a turn to summon. So
Right.
Yep.
So, well, roll and then tell me narrative.
You need new dice there,
Okay,
Chief.
crushing it, bro.
You need new dice.
They are new dice.
Are
These
there
the
are
other
there
two.
sides that have higher numbers on them?
Amazing.
Are those D3s? Or?
Dear
What level are you?
Lord.
Well, by now you must be like,
Dude,
yeah.
Yikes.
how much XP do you have?
I have 4.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I have 3.
Well, Dan, I gotta say, in this game, I make moves based on fails. So thank you for making it interesting.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm back in the water.
No, you're not. You're not.
That
You-
means that I can't do much with the actual Burning Brand because I don't.
But it's here. Don't worry.
yeah.
What does that actually? What does it? Does it say something?
When you conjure it on a 10 plus, choose 2 of the following tags. On a 7-9, choose 1, and then it doesn't. So I have the original 3, which is fiery, touch, and dangerous, and 3 use tags. So I couldn't actually use it against anything unless I could touch it.
Okay. Well, the good news is that you can touch them because as you create this ball of flame, you
Target.
get their attention.
Cool, nailed it.
They're not used to this climate either, and the heat is a welcome sign for them. And
I got you
like,
guys.
Like
I got you.
moths, they immediately kind of swarm you. 2 of them grab you. You slip on the ice and you start to fall, and a third one grabs your leg, and you are airborne.
Perfect.
Who wants to go next?
Perfect.
Matt?
So as I get to them, I will cast Magic Weapon on my staff. And I am going to swing on whichever one I can reach first. If it's going to be the one that's holding Ariad or any of the several that are now mauling Helios.
Cool.
I'm free of these things.
Oh, you got free yours?
Yeah. He's on his back on the ice, but he's free of them.
All right, well then I'll go thwack one of the ones on Helios.
All right. Hacking and slashing.
That's strength, right?
Yeah.
9.
Okay. So you deal damage, but you also take damage. So go ahead and roll your damage.
4.
4. Okay. And you're going to take a d6 minus 1.
1.
Okay.
Is that also
And minus another
with
one
armor?
because your armor. Yeah, it can reduce it to 0.
so 0?
Yep. So 4. So you kill this thing with your your staff, your magical staff. So tell me what that looks like.
So as I'm running up, the red light disappears from my staff, and as it kind of all condenses down to where I'm holding it, and as I come up and make contact with it, it bursts in red fiery energy.
Dope.
Nice.
Cool. It kind of claws at you in last death throes and gets a couple good cuts on your arm, or on your armor rather, but doesn't get through as it dies. And you are now kind of standing right next to Helios, who is at about chest height with you. and then at your feet is Ariad, who I assume is about to stand up, and Sapush finally arrives.
Spush comes sprinting in. Coyotes aren't that big, so pretty quiet. You see, and he actually, kind of without thinking, jumps off the form of Ariad as he starts to stand up. You feel like pressure suddenly, like there and gone. And he's going to bounce off him and just go right for a wing, and just try with the momentum, just grab the wing and try to pull it away. So
Cool.
I guess just a attack basically, but 11.
11. Okay.
I was
So
thinking he was going to do like a chew toy, like tug of war with Helios.
I've never actually been successful in hack and slash. Let me see here. I'm going to choose to do the plus 1d6 damage.
Cool.
So, but then I will expose myself. So I do 8.
You do 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Take it away. What do you?
Do I take some on this?
Yep.
Okay.
D6 minus 1.
All right,
And-
just to get the flavor for so 3. So Sapush, this coyote, comes running, almost silently leaps off the back of Ariad into the air, and just his small body, but just with momentum, latches onto this wing, and it kind of spirals and immediately let goes of Helios and crashes down onto the ice, and it turns and it kind of sinks its jaws into the back of that coyote a bit and gets a good bite. And then as it thrashes on the ice, the coyote kind of readjusts its grip and just gets the neck and just does you see that thrash that like dog creatures do, and you just hear a snap as the neck breaks.
Nice.
Ariad pops up, picking up the sword that he dropped when he fell, and now that the Helios is only carried by one, it's kind of drooping a little low. So he just takes a slice at its legs to try to release it. 8.
8. Okay.
4.
4. All right. That kills it. They're tiny.
It does nothing to me.
Nothing to you? Okay. Cool.
So yeah, I kind of get up and maybe put a hand on Helios to keep him steady, and just with one hand just swipe the sword across its legs and basically chop them off. And it kind of tumbles out of the air into the water.
Cool. You do that, and Helios, you're once again on the ice. You
have these like decapitated legs still latched on.
You get to your feet. These two kind of your hand and your stump kind of on fire, ready to be used as weapons. And you look around and you see that your companions have killed all 3 of the ones that were trying to carry you away. And now that you're all kind of up and together and not easy pickings, you see that these things have moved away, and they're kind of circling at a distance, afraid to strike because you are clearly a threat.
Well, let's keep moving.
I need to warm up before we move.
Do you need my cloak? I take my cloak off and put it over your shoulders.
I drop the cloak, the soaking wet cloak that I have over me. I drop it down and I put your cloak over me, and I just hold the fire kind of between my hands to underneath my chest and just try to warm up.
Cool.
And I'll start to slowly walk forward.
So Push comes over and kind of sniffs at you, and then slowly lies down behind you and curls up around you like it would with a pup.
Yep. I'll stop. Shall we wait before we move?
Panting.
Well, if you need time, I'll stand over him with my sword drawn, just
Nice.
waiting.
You stand over with your drawn sword, and Kyle stands there with his glowing staff, and the two of you kind of stand guard while you help him warm up and dry off. And the 4 of you stay there for what ends up being an hour or 2, maybe, just kind of resting and heating up. And eventually you see the light of dawn start to come over the horizon, and you see this island where Fort Assan is located. It's a very large island. Like, you might not even realize it was an island unless you looked at a map. Like, Jamaica size. And
Man, you missed a good chance for Jaws quote. It's only an island if you look at it from the water.
nice. And you see this fort and the village that surrounds it covered in snow and ice. And as you finally dry off and get to your feet and start walking, you're all reminded of the islanders at White Sand and how little they wore. And you shiver to think of the fate that befell the people who live in Fort Assan as you cross the ice and enter the fort.
Since we waited an hour or so, can I have communed with Dio to change up some spells so I
Yes.
don't have Speak with Dead anymore?
Absolutely.
Dope.
Yeah, you actually had quite a bit of time on the boat, so you could have something else.
As we kind of stand and sit there huddled around the fire that I have, Helios clears his throat. I will admit that looking for Trinas may have been a tactical error, but we do know where he will be, and we do know that he fully commands the power of the gods, or God. I can only hope that this display of power has preoccupied him.
You're saying we should turn around?
No, I'm saying that as we move forward, we know where he will be, and we will know what he is doing. And I hope that this exertion has left him vulnerable.
Let us hope that's not just a side effect of what he's done with that god.
You get to your feet and start walking across the ice. And as the sun is coming up, you reach the port of Fort Assan. This dock, the docks here are large enough and the water deep enough that ships like your own can come right up to the docks and disembark. And what you do is you cross the ice and then you climb up onto these docks and you make your way into the small village that surrounds the fort. The fort looks like your typical sort of medieval fort that is common in Belikai lands. Stone, 4 towers, crenellations. It's a little out of place on this weird tropical island. The village around it is a native village. It's thatched roofs and palm buildings, and it's clear immediately that the people who lived here are dead. They probably froze quite quickly from what appears to be some sort of blizzard that came in and just froze everything. As you make your way off of that dock, there is snow on the ground, and you start making your way through it. And are you still in Sapush? Are you still in coyote form?
No, I think as soon as we reached the docks, a push turned back into his human form and
Okay.
climbed up, kind of stiff, stretched at the top.
Sapush, you're the first to notice. You see in the village a wisp of smoke, just a tiny bit of smoke coming out of a chimney. The only building in the village with a chimney. There'd be no reason for them otherwise. But clearly there's something there.
The lands that I originally called home, it does not get this cold in winter.
Okay.
Is that correct? Or
It's up to you. I mean,
Okay.
is it kind of like a temperate forest?
I was thinking the northern regions would kind of,
Yeah.
let snow. I've been in snow, seen snow before.
Right.
Maybe it's not like the
Pac
winter and
Northwest.
it comes and it's just, yeah. It will snow now and then.
Okay.
But it doesn't usually last too long. So kind of look around and look down and I say, there is someone in the village. house
Where?
there, the chimney of a home fire.
It's not a it's not a billowing smoke coming out of this chimney. It's just occasionally you do see a little wisp of smoke and coming out of this stone chimney, which is very out of place to have a building in the village made of stone and with a chimney. And as you approach, you realize it must be some sort of blacksmith or something like that.
Do you think they're alive in there?
The fire would not last that long.
It's a large stone building, probably multiple rooms, and attached to it looks to be some sort of storage warehouse. And outside, you can see equipment that might have belonged to guards. You see some pikes and stuff like that. It looks like this is definitely a blacksmith, and it's a operation that is part of the Belakai logistical network.
I say, remember, you said they had soldiers with them. They may be here.
I believe Trinas would not let them out of the keep. These are most likely any survivors from the village, Helios says. But you are wise to proceed with caution. Jake, Helios will kind of walk up to it and then kind of start to walk slowly around the building.
Okay.
To see if there's any windows or anything that he can kind of peek through before knocking or...
It seems like the building was intentionally made to not have windows because it is valuable goods that are kept inside. The doors are a large set of wooden double doors, wide enough that you could bring an entire wagon inside and do repairs to it if necessary. And you make your way around the exterior, and you notice that a side door has actually been broken open.
Helios kind of walks out to the side where he's kind of got line of sight with the rest of the group and says, kind of waves everyone over.
I draw my sword and head over.
Okay.
As you walk up, Ariad, Helios points to the door that has been broken.
Oh, well, I can have a look in. Ariad kind of goes around Helios.
Remember, Farley says not to lead off with being from a different plane.
Yes. Well, I keep my sword out because I don't know who's there, but I kind of lean in to kind of get a view of through the door, and then kind of slide across to see what's in there.
Slice the pie.
I'm gonna slice that pie. We're gonna stack up.
Button hook.
John, do elves have dark vision or anything? Like that?
I don't think they have dark vision because where they're from, it doesn't really necessarily get that dark.
Mm-hmm.
So no,
Okay.
no dark vision.
So it's very dark in there. There are no windows, and it doesn't look like there's any lanterns lit or anything like that. But the little bit of light that's coming in through the door, you take a look down this hallway, and you don't see anything.
Sapoosh?
I think I have learned for this.
Helios nods his head.
Spush kind of rolls his shoulders, slowly leans his front body down, and as his hands touch the ground, takes the form of a feline. Of a cat.
There we go again, getting that subgenre. Oh, we're gonna be so popular.
And silently pads into the darkness, pausing frequently. See the tail kind of swish when he's still kind of in the periphery of the light, and then a little bit further in. So I make a roll. Let's see if I fuck this one up again. Ooh, barely 7. So
Cool.
Hold 2.
All right, so you walk through, and it seems safe. You get a good look at everything that's in here, but for the sake of not describing it twice, you walk through and determine that there are no enemies inside, and then you come back and get them.
Yep. I see no.
I'm going to send you a real short nastygram.
Oh,
Trademark.
Send that nasty gram.
Nasty.
Jake, Helios is going to look around the building just real quick and looked up at the keep. Can he see anyone patrolling on top of the keep?
No,
Okay.
no signs of life up there.
Is there any smoke coming from the keep?
No.
Okay.
The cat had very carefully and quietly made its way in. And then you know when like cats just kind of run and
crazy.
suddenly they make so much fucking noise. You're like, how could that? So this cat just comes bolting out, stops like right near you guys and curls closely around Ariad's legs and kind of like arches his back and his hackles go up and he kind of looks back in the darkness and hisses.
Cool. Sapush found a dog.
I kind of get hunkered down with my weapon out.
Helios brings a small flame to his hand.
I will place my hand on Ariad's back and cast Bless.
Spush.
I
Kinda goes,
actually got a roll for that.
And he turns and the cat kind of starts walking away from Ariad. It looks a little less spooked and it looks back in the darkness and kind of just makes a kind of meowing again and then just sits down and sort of self-reassuringly starts licking itself, but does not look concerned with danger. Just like it got spooked out and then it calmed down and walked away like it's unconcerned.
Ariad,
Yes.
perhaps you should make our presence known.
Yes. I still have my sword out because I don't know what Sapush saw. And I kind of bang the hilt of the sword against the broken wood. And I say, is there anyone in there?
There's no answer.
What did you
Kind-
see?
Kind of a plaintive meow.
I step inside and
Ariad,
carefully. Yes.
before you go, I'll touch your sword and cast light on it. So now it'll glow with a green light.
Now you're a murder elf with a lightsaber. Cool.
Yeah.
But it's a good lightsaber, so he's gotta be a good guy, right?
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm Luke Elf Walker.
Yikes.
You take
Yeah.
point
Yosh.
and
We're
you
going to cut that.
Cut that out.
you take point and you make your way down the hall and into the main workshop of the blacksmith. And you see a little bit of embers glowing in the fire. And around you in this room, you see the bodies of dozens of villagers.
Oh.
You see what looks like a slaughter. They've been killed by weapons. Most of them were women, children, defenseless, older people that were just killed where they stood or where they laid. A few of them seem to have died with weapons in their hands, but make no mistake, this was a massacre.
Well, it seems they weren't all allowed to freeze to death.
On the southern front, Furian forces defeated a terrorist cell located inside the village. 27 enemy combatants were slain. There were no civilian casualties.
Yikes.
You start walking the perimeter of the workshop, just looking at the carnage. And one thing you notice, you see one body that looks out of place, heavily armored and wearing heavy furs. Looks like they managed to kill one of their attackers.
Helios steps through the doorway and slowly looks around. Before we leave this place, I shall burn this to the ground.
Probably for the best.
The only burial they'll have.
First, we must burn that wizard.
We must find a way into the keep. The keep, even now, shows no sign of life.
Surprised he hasn't put guards up, knowing that we have no
Sorry,
ship.
just for the record, you don't think that ice cavern you saw is in the keep?
Okay, it's somewhere on the island?
Yeah,
Okay.
it looked natural. It didn't look like a
Basement.
Yeah.
We may need to search. We may need to search the island itself. Likely there is... No, in fact, I know. The general said that there was ore that was mined from this place. And I'm sure they turned it to weapons. So there must be mines somewhere on this island.
That letter you spoke of, did it mention a specific mine?
It didn't. Simply near the keep.
Well,
I can ask Dio for guidance.
If you think the Dio will point us in the right direction, ask your question.
We can always try.
Matt, you kneel among the massacred bodies and start to commune with Dio. Outside, you hear the howling wind start to pick up as a storm approaches. And we'll stop there.
In a happy place.
Surrounded by frozen bodies.
Just get this fire.
A police car and a screaming siren, pneumatic drill, ripped up concrete.
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of our Into the Storm arc. If you're liking what you hear, tell a friend about it. Write a goddamn review on Apple Podcasts. Do whatever you can do to help us out and get the word out there. In the meantime, check us out online. We are at Nastygram on Instagram and Twitter. And the best place to interact personally with all the cast is at our Facebook page, the Nastygram RPG Lounge. Our intro music is by Wilhelm Scream. Scores once again by Adrian von Ziegler, and some new stuff from an awesome Finnish composer, Antti Martakainen. If you guys are missing Dean on this arc, go ahead and hop over to LSG Media. Listen to all their great stuff. He's on it all. LibertyStreetGeek.net. Thanks again, guys, and we'll catch you next week.
Days of speed and slow time Mondays. Missing out with rain on a boring Wednesday. Watching the news and not eating your tea. Freezing conflict and death on the walls. I said that's entertainment. That's entertainment.
That's nasty.
should we do the end of
and-
session
And the
experience?
sesh.
Yeah.
I'm going to level up.
I'm nowhere close.
It's 7 plus level, so you're level
So
2 now, so
nine.
it's 9.
I'm not
Oh.
going to level up.
I'm
But
gonna-
it's not quite.
I'm
not
going to
quite.
say that my bond with Kyle is not applicable anymore.
There were some bonds there that you guys, it seemed like there were some bonds there that definitely had some movement. What was your bond with Kyle?
It was Kyle is puny and foolish, but amusing to me.
Okay.
I don't think that anymore at all.
Well, so I think that was resolved.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's cool. So what do you think of Kyle now?
I think because of the whole deity thing, I think it's going to be about learning what divinity means on this plane. Like,
Cool.
he would be like
Yeah.
kind of similar to Sapush, like his, but in a more I don't know, not a gathering of knowledge, but just in a curiosity,
Yeah.
like learning about what does it mean to be a deity on this, because his the elven interaction, there's no real interaction with their deities.
Okay.
They're more
Yeah.
standoffish.
Yeah.
And the fact that now you can speak to deities and they're whole and whatever, like that's an exciting proposition.
Cool.
So
Cool.
learning more about that.
Sweet. I think I have one. I have you had insulted my deity, and I do not trust you. So I think I'd say, so if that's the way your character now feels about me and Dio, then
Yeah.
I would say that would be resolved as well.
Yeah,
that
I
you've
definitely would be
acknowledged.
speaking. Yeah, I think maybe obviously maybe a bit off camera or whatever, but during that trip, he probably would have been asking you about it, especially after that ritual,
Well, and
in a more serious tone.
Matt, there was something that you had said to John. I don't remember what exactly it was, but we have it recorded. But you had said something about like, I can show you so much about like what,
Oh, the mushrooms.
like how exciting the
Yeah.
gods are, something like that.
It was
like
one day we'll sit down, you and I together, and have some mushrooms.
Yeah, it's something like
That's
that.
basically the bond,
And I
I
think
think.
that should be the bond.
Yeah.
That should be your new bond.
I have
with
that
him.
for one as you all, because I had two with you originally, and it's I
Yep.
am working on converting you to my faith.
Yeah, so,
So
that can
not
maybe
resolved, but
right, but
working on.
it changes to that. Yeah, that's cool.
Dan, actually, I was curious. What is your bond with Matt? With
Mine, I think didn't quite get there, which is I will teach Kyle Black the true meaning of sacrifice.
I think you're on the track.
I am on track. I am on track.
I think you're kind of trying to teach
because that
everybody
was
that.
Yep.
that was also a really cool interaction where like he just gets really upset about your sacrifices.
Yeah,
What's your bond, Matt, with Dan?
Helios is in constant danger. I will keep them safe.
that's about right.
Yep.
I think
Trying.
that you should resolve that one. That whole scene on the ice was really cool, where like you guys are like guarding him, you know, or do you only resolve one? Is that how it works?
I would think you just for Matt. You
Well,
resolve Matt's.
Each individual
Yep.
chooses one bond
Okay.
that they feel is either resolved or not relevant.
Yeah,
Like sometimes it just will be like, like
Yep,
this doesn't
yep,
really,
like John's.
Yeah,
which is just a good option to get rid of it and add a bond that is relevant. I'm not sure if I have any that are resolved nor to get rid of, really. I mean, I think the stuff with Kyle is still kind of I have two with him that haven't really got to fully work through, but I think we're both on track. I've shown Kyle Secret Right of the Land and seeks to experience the divine through Kyle. I think we're kind of starting to dabble at it, but we need a full on, sesh.
Oh, that's coming.
It's coming.
I think we need some actual land.
yeah.
Yes, and to be actually on land. So, and I think it'll be kind of cool because I've kind of sat there through some of his contemplations with Dio, and maybe that we'll get a chance to reverse that. Which is actually there's a move I'm hoping I think to take, which will be a cool way to kind of share that.
Cool.
Well, also don't forget that your alignment can give you experience too. If you did something as part of your alignment,
Okay.
Yep.
But just on the other bonds, the one I have with Iriad is called here for a reason. He just doesn't know what it is. I still like the idea of that. I just don't know if I've honed
But
any. I don't want to get rid of it, but I don't know if we've.
and we don't know if we'll ever resolve that in this. Well, who knows? how far
No,
we
but
go.
I mean, I might consider it resolved if got to a point where Sapush actually consciously knows of what it
What
is
it
he
is.
thinks
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're here for. But
Right.
I don't think he's there yet.
no.
And then for Helios says the spirit spoke to me of a great danger that follows Helios.
I think we're still working towards that.
Yeah. If anything, that would be the only one. I don't even know if I would consider it resolved, but kind of change it. Literally, almost just change the wording of the spirits. Speak to me that great danger follows Helios. Like it's not a danger following you. It's dangers following because of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I kind of want to
I think
jigger it.
the one that I have with you is Sapush has felt the hellish touch of fire. Now they know my strength. I think that might not have sort of arrived yet. That sort of that magnitude of it, I think, because so far, like maybe if the boat blew up, maybe that would have been the case, but nothing kind of totally destructive has happened so far, I think, which also kind of ties in with mine with you, John, which is, feed the flames of sacrifice with Ariad. So,
Jake, are those Nightwings? Would you consider them a unnatural menace?
Yeah, they're unnatural. They're
Right.
monsters.
That's my alignment neutral
Cool.
is eliminate an unnatural menace.
Maybe you guys can kind of add some insight into this. My neutral alignment, which is exchange a sacrifice freely given for a service rendered.
Say that again.
Exactly. Exchange a sacrifice freely given for a service rendered.
So the idea is someone makes a sacrifice to you, and in return you give them something.
I don't know if
Like
I read
you
it that
make the
way.
sacrifice.
I almost say that what you did with the scrying thing counts as that.
Yeah.
I did like
That's
it.
what I
Yeah,
would-
it some
was
cool
thinking
role
as
playing.
well.
Yeah.
You're basically when you sacrifice something to get a service,
Right.
that counts as your alignment.
And you've you've still
done
got
that.
a negative 2 dexterity. So
All right.
I like it. Yeah, I
John,
like
what's
it.
your bond?
And it was a cool
With
role playing
Sabush,
moment.
Sabush's ways are strange and confusing, which is probably still applicable.
I like that. Also, there's probably better ways to use the like scrying thing and those sort of things. But the only way he knows is through sacrifice.
I
Yeah.
like that.
And then collectively, did we learn something new and important about the world?
Oh, I think.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big old list.
Probably no. Did we overcome a notable monster enemy?
Not really.
Not
The
yet.
Not
night.
yet.
Yeah, they're not really notable.
Okay.
anymore.
Did we
So
loot a memorable treasure? We already got
You already got that.
Yeah,
one.
already.
credit for it.
Yeah.
So
One for
bond
that.
if you got it, alignment if you got it, and then 1 for the session thing.
I know my alignment is lawful. Endanger yourself following the precepts of your church or god.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this
Yeah.
crew, you kind of have to fucking good luck avoiding that.
I don't know.
And I
That
grab-
gives me 9.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh, no shit.
Nice.
I'm
Yeah.
at 7 right now.
Did you fail some rolls?
I'm at 8.
only
Yeah.
at 5.
I failed
so
a
good.
bunch
How many
of
did you
rolls.
have when we got the 3?
Oh,
When
yeah.
we got the 3 to level up, how many did you have?
Matt. I think Matt was already at
6.
7, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6.
So you had 1 rollover.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I
fine.
had 2 rollover.
Yeah. So Matt is going to level, and we can do this like
I'm
at
at
the
8.
beginning of the next game or something. And
Like a
Dan,
very
you said
quick-
you're at 8.
Mhm.
Okay, and you're at
7.
7, and you're at
5.
Descend
5. Okay.